And welcome back, everyone, to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from Austin Torres, who asked the question, who would win in a red fight? Who would win a fight? Red Skull versus Nick Fury. The leader, head of S.H.I.E.L.D., versus the head of Hydra, more or less. It depends on the version you're looking at, because, we're looking at a generalized version of both these characters, usually. But Red Skull like in the MCU, is a super soldier. He's a variation on a super soldier anyway. So he is actually similar to Captain America in that he's more or less a peak human being. Where in other versions of the comics, he's not a super soldier. He's simply a guy who's very physically fit, can usually go toe-to-toe with Cap, but usually bested by Cap. But he's a genius, a Nazi, and apparently has psionic abilities where he can transfer his conscience to other bodies, and therefore is effectively immortal. That part I didn't know until I just looked up information about him. But yeah, generally speaking, he's not a super soldier, which, by the way, I should note, I didn't check this prior, but hold on. Red Skull versus Nick Fury. Has this actually even happened in the comics? Let's see here. Has this ever gone down? Got Captain America versus the Red Skull. Apart from some fan stuff, no, actually, hold on. These two have met. And actually, in the one panel I got here, Red Skull did best him. But it was because Nick Fury walked in on him. He went, surprise, on the Red Skull, and shot him. And Nick Fury lived, obviously. So that doesn't really count in terms of an actual versus. Anything else I can find here that illustrates that? No. Okay, so apart from one or two interactions, these guys really have never actually fought before, to the best of my ability to figure things out here. But that said, he's a expert hand-to-hand combatant, super genius, and the ability to transfer himself to vacant bodies when he dies. Either way, though, even if he transfers himself to a body, that doesn't really count towards a victory here. That just means I will be back. So Nick Fury he's not someone who's peak physical condition, but he's in solid condition. Even for his age in the MCU, Sam Jackson's in good shape. He's not. You can tell he does have a bit of a tummy going on there, but he's in his 70s. What do you expect? Samuel Jackson, this part of him still looks good. So what if he's got a bit of the 70s dad bod going on? Whatever. But no, he's always a guy who's in good shape, can do the physical hand-to-hand. In the comics, he actually is an expert combatant. He's a master spy tactician. He's not a genius on the same level of the Red Skull, but he is very intelligent. He's usually walking around with his own specialized weapons. He's also had access to many shield tech, many forms of shield tech in the comics, including an invisible suit, bulletproof and temperature-resistant body armor, so forth and so on. Who would win in the actual fight with these guys? I will say this, the Red Skull being a Nazi is certainly the more ruthless, depending on how you define the term ruthless. I have a feeling in terms of means to an end if we're talking about means to an end in terms of a scenario, that Nick Fury is the far more dangerous individual. He will get the job done just to protect everything regardless. He's a guy who is the greater good. Let's wipe out a planet for the greater good of our species. He's the kind of guy who would do that. Red Skull is more I will wipe out this planet in order to enact my plan. For the greater good? No, for the greater me. That's what the Red Skull would be doing. So no, yeah, technically speaking, Fury is probably the more ruthless, but his ruthlessness comes from a better morality standpoint, I guess. Take that for D&D alignment. I'm guessing he's a lawful good character who leans towards lawful evil at points. Generally speaking, he is for the greater good. He can also be a dick sometimes. These two meet in a fight, however. Skull's got more experience because he's just been alive longer. These guys, for a while, you'd have a standoff with pistols. Eventually, they begin in hand to hand, and even though Skull has been capable of going toe-to-toe with Cap. He's not a super soldier, generally speaking, in most of the continuity. So that would mean that he is probably closer to Nick Fury in physicality. Nick is arguably the better fighter, though. He just has things like boxing. He was a heavyweight champion boxer in the army. He is the Taekwondo master, among other forms of combat. And he's, again, like I said, he does have actual shield tech on him, usually. So be it a grenade or the invisible suit, stun, whatever, stun grenades or stun shots, he has those on him usually. And so the fight would probably break down. Fury would start gaining the edge. Red Skull would fall back, try to like do some sort of doom. Let's say it takes place on the helicarrier, for example, and he's like, "Be careful, Mr. Fury. You don't want something bad to happen. I hacked into your mainframe. I press this button, everything goes down, and oh look, we're on New York City, and you have many tactical weaponry on this, including several nuclear weapons. Well, you understand. You would not want this to happen on U.S. soil, would you?" And just use Nick Fury. Like, you really, Nick Fury. This is where Nick Fury probably was like, "You really think that it's that easy to hack my helicarrier?" Maybe he presses a button in the helicarrier, or you just kind of like, he just says a code that Red Skull is like, "What did you do?" It's like, I just put the auxiliary jet, or I just put all the power into the jets. We're now going 500 miles an hour. Straight into the ocean. Because that's right, I'm going to sink us like Atlantis itself. And then he just shoots the Red Skull. It's like, yep, we're going down together. Like, you really think it's that easy, Mr. Fury? I will be back. I always come back. Oh, that's right. That's right. That little psionic trick. We figured that out a little while ago, too. So here you go. He shoots him in the other room so he can't he can't lift his arms. What is this? What did you put in my head? It's a special thing. It blocks psionics. We invented it in case Xavier went wild. But it should work on you, too. I guess I won't be. And he just starts walking. Where are you going? Oh, we're getting off this boat. Are you kidding me? I was just bluffing when I said I was going to die with you. It's like, he just shoots him in the legs, too. That's the thing. That is something Fury would do. He would leave Skull in the States like, no, what are you doing? Just leave him with nothing and just let the helicarrier crash, burn, sink, and blow up with him in it. Once this is destroyed, even after death, I'll come back. No, we used some vibranium and adamantium we had to make that thing. You're not going. That thing will be stuck on your burnt char carcass. It's like, no. I can see. Look, that's a bit extreme, but I could totally see him doing that. And look, I mean, like I said, the Red Skull being able to transfer his consciousness to other bodies doesn't really matter in this context, in this fight. It's a matter of who wins outright. And outright, I think it would probably be Nick Fury. Now, granted, I did put him on the helicarrier, and I did throw I just made up a contraption that he theoretically could make to stop him. But I think my point stands is that that's probably how this would play out in some capacity. And so that's my opinion. I think Nick Fury would take this fight. Now, to hold just a second, if we're dealing with a super soldier version of the Red Skull like we get in the MCU, it does put it a bit more into the Red Skull's favor. This is due to the fact that he just is now physically more powerful than Nick Fury by a long margin. But just because you're a super soldier and peak human doesn't mean you can't be beaten by any stretch. We look at Cap. Look at how him and Batroc went at. Batroc, not a super soldier, was able to go toe-to-toe with him for a while. Granted, Cap won that fight, but he still was able to push Cap. It's like, you're nothing on your toy. It's like, hey, just let's find out. And that's still a great fight, a little sparring match. So, yeah, Red Skull being a super soldier could lean a bit more in his favor. I still think Nick being the more tactical of the two and having a lot of tricks up his sleeves would be the more likely to win. So that's my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy, though. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you folks next time. Have a good one.